You see, when I was listening you talking about General Khan, I was asking myself if this committee has done justice to comprehensively investigate at length the allegations that you made. And I was saying maybe we missed an opportunity because the manner in which we have described the role of General Khan requires that he comes before this committee as a witness, but he was not called. The unfortunate part about this committee is that it is constituted by representatives of political parties. So it is not driven by principles of objectivity and impartiality to a certain extent. Some people become overprotective of their party interests. Some become overprotective of their personal interest. As a result, or ipso facto, they compromise principle and they do not arrive to issues that were supposed to arrive to. They just scratch the surface, and some don't want the truth to be exposed. Do you feel, General, as the main complainant, because the reason why you are the only witness who has been granted an opportunity to come back is because we regarded you as the main complainant. Do you think this committee has comprehensively ventilated and investigated these allegations? Or we've just scratched the surface? Besamba nje la emoyeni. Asifikanga la kufanele sifike khona. I'm asking this because we have not called any. I know that you said you don't have adequate evidence in relation to the judiciary, but it's open secret that the judiciary is not a paragon of virtue. They also have their smolanyana skeletons, but none of them has been called to come here. Do you think we've done justice as this committee? Leave the Madlanga, but this committee, which is structured the way it is structured politically.
Yeah, well, in as far as the work that the committee has done, I was hoping that the reason for the minister to come up with the letter of the 31st of December was going to be investigated. Not just simple us being called here to talk about it, but I'm talking about a forensic investigation done from his gadgets, where this letter was compiled, his communications between him and his staff, Vusi Piccoli that he made a reference to, that he shared this thing with, and those legal structures that are established to assist the minister, like the DG at Civilian Secretariat. So those are the things that I was hoping were going to interrogate it thoroughly. And I feel they were not thoroughly interrogated. There are 3 items that the minister raised on his letter. And the majority of the time the committee spent was on the first one. The second part of it is just moving below the radar. The third part of it, which is border security, it's even more of a concern for me because that's a gateway for the bad things coming to the country. And I don't think the head of committee have done justice to establish exactly what's happening there. I hinted on some weaknesses in these areas, but I thought the committee was going to even do inspection in loco for that matter to test what we're saying. Whether really are we that open in our borders that things can just come in willy-nilly and without being checked? So those are the type of things I would have expected the committee to do. The time you were given maybe was not sufficient. Perhaps going forward, different structures, different committees, depending on the recommendation, will dig deeper, especially the portfolio committee on police, will dig deeper to find out what are the things beyond this committee.
Okay. Please bear with me when I cut you because there are questions that I would like to pose to you, and I'll be very flabbergasted if we finish without asking these questions. Evidence has been tendered here about the misuse of the so-called slush fund in the Secret Service account in crime intelligence. What is a systematic shortfall on how the slush funds are being run? Are there any gaps which are opening loopholes or which are opening a can of worms? And if there are systematic gaps which are attracting corruption to the Secret Service account, if they are, then how do we close them?
It's going to be difficult for me or a member to talk about Secret Service account because I'm neither a member of crime intelligence nor understand exactly the details of how they do business there. But one of the things that I picked up from the complaints I learned from the divisional commissioner, the Gerald Kumalo, and something I've learned when I was the acting national commissioner as well, was that the abuse of the resources becomes easier simply because there are these clandestine people that have been used. So a member is going to claim money on behalf of, and then that claim is paid, but that payment might not land to the person that is supposed to receive because of that system that they have within crime intelligence. Because they have to do things covertly. But also what became a weakness at the time which Gerald Kumalo was trying to close was that it is one individual trusted in decision-making to pay. So we came with control measures of putting a committee in place. It was aimed at trying to put some controls. But to go deeper to discuss issues of the crime intelligence or any intelligence community on how they operate, I'm not empowered to do that. I don't have necessary credentials to be able to discuss it.
Okay. When you were here, General, I asked you about Minister Senzo Mkhunu. I think the question that I asked is, do you have evidence proving that he is linked to criminal syndicates and drug cartels? And I think you gave a very fair response there too, because you said there are matters that you are still investigating surrounding him, and you have identified some trust account and so on and so forth. Now, General, my perspective here at this stage is that there is no adequate evidence that links him to criminal syndicates and drug cartels. Where we find him wrong is in relation to the decision that he took to disband the PKTT. It is my view. I can argue it for a couple of minutes, but because I don't have enough time, it is my view that it does not have constitutional powers, and neither does he has statutory powers to do what he did. But with regards to the other allegation, there is no adequate evidence proving it to be correct. What is your take?
I can't agree with you more, Honorable Member. I've said it before. I met the minister early in 2024, if I'm not saying just before the elections. Elections come. The minister appoints chief of staff. It's a minister that I was introduced to as being the good man. So when a letter is written on the 31st of December, I feel I must reach out to the person that I was introduced to so that I can be able to warn him about the implication of this so that he can retract it. And I'm not granted the opportunity. So the events that follows thereafter, all the way up until I send him a WhatsApp pleading with him to meet so that I can be able to discuss this role of Mkhwanazi that has come to the picture and the Khan in them. The minister acknowledges that, but he still doesn't grant me that opportunity. And then other evidences that comes out, we then realize that minister was consciously aware about the intentions of the people that are rogue within the organization to shut down this team. To what extent did he know that they were going to shut down the team? For what purpose? I'm not sure whether we have the reason for that for now. This statement of someone that come from prison that seems to suggest certain things, and the witness E at the Matlanga Commission that recorded the minister when he was pleading with him to give a statement, and the presentation the minister made here regarding the work study investigation, amongst others, it made me conclude that the minister is protecting people. He's using justification that does not exist CFO disputed, everyone else disputed what he presents here as the reason for the letter. So it then leaves me with one conclusion. He was assisting the CBS, who in turn are assisting the cartel squad. So when you are assisting in that fashion, you might not be directly involved, but directly you are allowing the criminality to take place. So that is my conclusion. That's why I kept on saying, if he was honest, he was going to say, I was influenced by so and so and so and so and so and so. And you can easily forgive him for that. But he's not being honest about that. He says he's an author. If he's an author, then he gets into the constitutional question. What gives you the powers? That's what
Thank you, General. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.